Business School. So today we're connecting you with a very special guest, Mr. Dorian Carter. And Dorian is the president of On Point Partners. And today we're talking about the immense opportunities in commercial real estate for Black people to build wealth. So he's an expert on this in this field, and he's lent his time today to talk to the Black Business School and the Black Financial Channel to tell us, basically all of his knowledge, give us the game as it relates to commercial real estate. So Dorian, how are you doing today?
I am well, Lawrence. How you doing?
I'm doing wonderful, man. Doing wonderful. And we connected through LinkedIn, and I saw all the cool things that you were up to. So, can you inform the audience what you currently do and how you've gotten to this point in your career?
Yes, I'm the president of On Point Partners. We're a global commercial real estate advisory firm. We do consulting on commercial real estate across the U.S. Specifically, we focus on doing market studies, feasibility studies for real estate development projects, as well as consulting for opportunity zones. And so I started out actually buying houses, rehabbing and holding them while I was in management in the IT field. So I managed data centers for a while, and I decided to get into commercial real estate in 2005.
Got you. So tell us about that in regards to how the opportunity popped up for you to get into commercial real estate. So what led you down that path?
Well, it's actually by accident. I was an economics major in college, and I decided to take a elective commercial real estate class. And the rest was history, because at that time I was buying houses. I knew nothing about commercial. And so what I found out is the majority of really the top 3% of earners in the United States earn money through commercial real estate. So for me, I had a problem with the fact in our neighborhoods, there wasn't the stores that you see in other neighborhoods. So it got me into wanting to know why. And so that led to a career change, and here I am now.
Got you. So before, so you kind of slid something in there, kind of slick, in a good way. But you were buying houses then right out of college or in college. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, I was in college. I had spent 9.5 years in the military, so it was after some seasoning. So I was in my late 20s when I jumped in to start purchasing homes, buy and hold strategy. And so I had some idea of where I was going in life by that point.
Got you. Got you. How did the military? What branch were you in?
I was in the Air Force.
So you're in the Air Force. How did the Air Force, I guess, enlisted or were you officer?
Yeah, I was enlisted.
Okay. How did the Air Force prepare you for your next career in, I guess, real estate? Or did it prepare you for that at all?
Yeah, I think the military, whether you're in any branch, it provides that discipline you need to go forth in life. Like, I grew up in a tough area of Jacksonville, Florida, so experienced a lot. So I took an opportunity, through some high test scores to join the Air Force. And so that gave me the discipline in life to really buckle down and get back on focus, stay out of trouble, and find a direction in my life. So, and military in general helps.
Now, did you join the military right out of high school, or did you go to college first, or what?
No, I literally graduated high school in June. I was in basic training August 2nd, so wasn't much time.
Wow, wow. What made you take that direction to enlist, though? So you mentioned your high test scores, but why the military is a path instead of another path that you could have taken?
Well, I thought that I was going to go right into some type of career and be able to make a lot of money. I wasn't had no desires of going to college, and so one took a path trying to get out of the area I was in and do better for myself, and then the fact that I thought it'd be a good way to get a skill and learn. So.
Got you. Yeah. So, I mean, you spent this time in the military. Now, when did you realize though that you wanted to buy your first, piece of property, right? So, when was that moment? Was it in the military or was it after you got out?
Yeah, that was I literally bought my first house maybe 6 months out of getting out of the military. And so what really made me look at buying a house is one, my godparents who raised me purchased their home and raised their home, uh, purchased their home and paid off their home during my time at home. So I wanted to learn what it was to go without a mortgage and pay a mortgage off. So I decided to go and buy my first home, and then I subsequently learned that you can make a lot of money in real estate.
Okay. Yeah. So where did that realization come from that you can make a lot of money in real estate though? Right. So, I mean, you bought your first home, but then it's like, oh, I'm building equity in something that I own. Is that when it happened or did it happen with some other instance?
Well, I must be honest, back during that time before the market crashed in '07, that was 9 years prior to that. Money was available to purchase anything you want. They were, at that time, they were doing stated loans based on, you just say you name an income and you can go in and sign on a loan. So it was so much opportunity. During that period, I lived in Atlanta, and it was so much opportunity to get money and purchase home and purchase real estate. So it was a realization that you could build wealth pretty fast that way.
Got you. Got you. So what happened after you purchased your first home? Did you buy a second home or did you buy a third or what happened?
I kept buying, so I would buy, live in the house for a while, and then move my family to another house, buy another house, and then rent uh, the one previous out. So it created me a way to have cash flow, build cash flow, pay down debt, and so it was an excellent opportunity for me.
Got you. Now, were you doing this full time, or you mentioned you had another job in addition to doing this real estate stuff? Is that correct?
Yeah, I was spastic back then. I was going to school. I was managing data centers and had a team in two different cities, all while buying houses and rehabbing. So I wouldn't recommend that for anybody. So yeah, I was spastic back then in my younger years.
Yeah, but that's the thing that really helped you, I guess, develop your wealth in terms of what you enjoy now, right? Is all the hard work that you did in your, I guess that was your mid and late 20s. If you started in the military at age 18 and you came out at age 26 or 27 or so, right? So yeah,
Absolutely.
got you. So when did the commercial real estate bug hit you though? So how long were you moving your family, buying houses? And then, you mentioned the top 1 to 3% of earners are actually in commercial real estate. But when was that moment or that time period when you said, "Hey, I can do this too"?
Well, I was sitting at the desk, I'll never forget it, at a major telecommunications firm, and I had just finished my first commercial real estate class. And I started, just wondering why we didn't have opportunities and we didn't have certain stores in the African American neighborhood. And so what I found is we just didn't have it because not that there was a lack of demand, but we had a lack of developers to go in to transform our communities. And so right then I knew I wrote a vision statement for my company that I have now, On Point Partners. I wrote a vision statement to focus in commercial real estate around transforming underserved communities. And so I realized, one, from looking at how wealth is built through commercial real estate and how you can truly generate uh, large cash returns or cash flows out of commercial real estate as opposed to maybe doing one deal in commercial um, beats or would take on 10 residential deals. And so you could do one deal and create bigger wealth and bigger cash flow.
Got you. And I want to jump into that here in a moment, especially, the unique opportunities for Black people to get into commercial real estate and, what those look like. But before we do that, just want to remind everyone that I'm here with Dorian Carter, and Dorian is the president of On Point Partners, which is a global commercial real estate advisory firm. And today we're talking all about the immense opportunities in commercial real estate for Black people to build wealth. So please go ahead and show us some love by just pressing the thumbs up button on YouTube. The more love that you show us, the more love that the Google algorithm shows us as well. So please make sure that you show us some love so we can have this video shared and seen by more and more people. And also make sure that you share this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel as well. So Dorian, let's talk opportunity then, right? Why is it important? You've already touched on it a little bit in regards to, what you saw in terms of our community, but why is it important and what type of opportunities are available for Black people in commercial real estate versus residential?
Yeah, I was just having a conversation today. It's really wide open. One, because in commercial, it's more about pooling resources with other investors and acquiring things like shopping centers, strip centers, single tenant net lease. Many people don't even know that you drive past many assets that are owned by investors. One might be Family Dollar, one might be a Walgreens. All of those are opportunities for African Americans to invest and create wealth in our community. Also, when you see out here strip centers. I mean, in our neighborhoods, we got lots of strip centers, but those are great investment projects that sinking your money into, whether it's acquiring or developing it, will create long-term wealth for our community.
Got you. So, I mean, when we think about commercial real estate, though, often we think about, strip centers, or we think about these big office buildings, or, whatever it may be, right? So I guess two questions. How vast are the opportunities in our neighborhoods to get involved with commercial real estate? And then also, how does commercial real estate differ than what most people are used to in terms of investing in residential real estate by buying and flipping houses or buying and holding or something like that?
Yeah, it's like I said earlier, you can walk. I mean, you can literally drive down any street on the left side or right, whether you're looking at, it doesn't matter, any retail, whether it's a Popeyes, a quick service restaurant of some kind, it's an investment opportunity. So what has traditionally happened and still is currently happening is there's not a bigger understanding or around African Americans understanding that you can invest and how to get it done. And so that's what I focus on at my firm, just how to bring investors together and invest in these types of opportunities. And so it's really wide open.
Got you. So, and then I want to get into the how here in one moment. But before we do, how is this different than investing in residential real estate? So what are some of the main differences in commercial versus residential investing?
So, of course, owning one house is only going to produce so much rental income. And so the real differences is in commercial, you have long-term stable income. So for instance, if you buy a commercial building, the tenants can be in there as long as 10 years versus rental income on a house, which can be 12 months, 24 months, but that's probably at your max, and then you changing over to a new tenant. Well, commercial real estate and the tenants in commercial real estate are understood to be stable. And so the markets, meaning the banks and investors out on the market, understand that that's a long-term sustainable cash flow. So that in turn creates a bigger value versus than what you'll find in residential. Residential, our deals tend to be a lot easier. They go a lot quicker than commercial real estate, but we should be focused around long-term wealth building. And so that's even more of a stronger reason for African Americans to be into commercial real estate.
Got you. And and you mentioned the key point, and I want you to dig into this a little bit more in terms of the trade-off, where commercial real estate may provide, I guess, a higher level of profitability and wealth building because you can do bigger deals with more stable long-term clients. However, the downside is the complexity compared to residential real estate in terms of getting deals actually done. So, can you talk about this in terms of that's why you started your firm in terms of on point partners? But let's talk about that complexity even more. What are, I guess, your best tips for our people to navigate that complexity and actually get into the game of commercial real estate?
Yeah. First, and I teach this in the courses that I teach. First is about establishing a team. Uh, Anything that's complex require a team. Even if you're in residential, you have a team. You need an attorney, an accountant. You need a real estate broker can help you think through the deals, and you need a financial advisor. And so those team members are most important. Secondly, and it's just as important, is to group up or team up with other investors that have money. You can go into a deal. Most deals require that you have somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30%. In a bad market, you might need 40. But if you pool your money with other investors that have that seed investment, now you can go out and get a loan and create cash flow, where it's split among the various investors. So I would say establish a team, and then team with other individuals with some money to put in and go out and acquire a building. Doesn't matter what it is that you can acquire, whether it's Dollar Tree, Dollar General. All of those are investment opportunities to put your money in and get long-term stable cash flow.
Got you. Well, let's think about the financing a little bit more then, in terms of just finding other people who have a significant amount of money to invest in these commercial real estate deals. So, how do you go about finding those individuals?
Well, I always I network a lot at investment events. What you'll find is if you go to investment events, especially those where there are residential folks there, a lot of folks, are making a lot of money in residential, but just like I'm recommending, they want to see some opportunity to do a little less work or half the work and get more cash flow. So that's one place that I go. Uh, and also, I think people miss this, that there's opportunities around you utilizing your retirement. So everyday people can utilize their retirement and do what's called take a portion of their money and put them in what's called a self-directed IRA, and then join with other investors and invest their money. So a lot of African Americans are sitting on nice retirements, or sitting on retirements, but they're not getting nice returns on it. But commercial real estate in and of itself, and a lot of times it doubles the return that you'll see on things like stock you may have invested or your 401k. So there's ways to do it, whereas in some top 3% high earners have cash. You just have to utilize with what you have, and it's tax free in a lot of cases, or tax
Yeah,
deferred.
right. And there are a lot of different benefits that I hear about in regards to getting into commercial real estate. But I also want to talk about protection as well, right? So one way that you mentioned in terms of protecting yourself is by diversification and building a good team, right? So the more people you have putting into a deal, the less you have to worry about, I guess, losing your entire shirt in regards to your retirement or something like that, because you can, invest in 2 or 3 different deals instead of just one. The building the team piece. I want to talk about a couple other things in terms of how people in real estate tend to lose out. Right. So one way is by buying wrong, negotiating wrong, not understanding the true value of a property. and then also legally in terms of putting up those legal protections as well, just to make sure that you don't get scammed or everyone is on the up and up on different types of deals. So can you address those two things for me? First, in terms of how do you go about buying correctly, and then also protecting yourself legally?
Yeah, like I said, when doing this, one of the most important thing is to have a personal attorney and a personal accountant, because you already have those relationships. Utilize them, and if they don't know something, they will find a good professional in their field that they know that can help you. So that's first and foremost. The second, in order to protect yourself, it is again having the right team members. So you're not going with someone that doesn't have experience in commercial real estate. And to that, it is a very, very hard to find African Americans leading and doing hard work around commercial real estate. They are there in many cities, but I would say it doesn't matter because you're investing your money. So you want to get the best person possible to do the right transaction for you. So even if you're not utilizing the African American, you utilize, and you don't have to. You're investing your money, so you want the person that does the best job. That's more important. And so that's what you're going to look at. Protect yourself with an attorney and an accountant. So you got one side, and then you hire somebody that knows what they're doing.
Got it. And I want to talk about that investment into our communities here and switch over to opportunity zones and your knowledge around that subject and how that's being used as a tool to gentrify, because I guess us as a community aren't really making the necessary investments in terms of capital gains into our communities. And I want to just get your take in terms of how we can solve that problem here in one moment. But before we do, I'm here with Mr. Dorian Carter, and Dorian is the president of On Point Partners. On Point Partners is a global commercial real estate advisory firm. And today we're talking about the immense opportunities in commercial real estate for Black people to build wealth. So if you guys are feeling this video, feeling what Dorian is saying, please go ahead and show us some love by pressing the thumbs up button. The more love that you show us, the more love that Google and YouTube's algorithm shows us. So more and more people can actually see this video. And also, if you have a question for Dorian, please go ahead and post it in the chat. Looks like we have about 92 people watching at this moment. So go ahead and post those questions in the chat, and we'll try to answer some of those questions for Dorian as well. So Dorian, let's talk about commercial real estate and how it relates to opportunity zones, right? And that's the big buzz right now: opportunity zone this, opportunity zone that, opportunity zone that. So in your own words, can you just give a quick definition of what opportunity zone is, and how are you using this opportunity zone designation to build up your commercial real estate portfolio?
Yeah, opportunity zones was a law that came into place in 2017 as part of the Trump tax law. And so it designates areas. So the governors in every state designated areas based on census tracts, or certain census tracts that were, I guess, low income census tracts. And then the federal law, a part of the Trump tax law, allows for investments into those communities utilizing capital gains. So you gotta be a person that has capital gains, can take those capital gains and invest. So it was meant to stimulate communities, or growth in specific communities that were low income. And so the law is very attractive for folks to take money that they otherwise probably wouldn't have invested in communities to, I guess, prop them up and help them grow.
Got you. So as it relates to your personal, I guess, commercial real estate advisory firm, or your commercial real estate advisory or your commercial real estate investment that you have made as well, How have opportunity zones played strategically in the work that you do?
Well, I do a lot of consulting around it. I mean, this is what I do probably 50% of my time. And so it's big. The laws are really haven't, although you have the law in place, how to implement it, how the IRS implements it, we're just now really getting to hopefully some final framework. I mean, literally, it's just as far back as a month ago. We're just, really trying to get some framework around how it really works. And so, but what we're seeing is there's a whole lot of money out there to be invested in opportunity zones. The problem is we're not having as many solid projects. And so if projects didn't work before money was there, then it doesn't automatically, magically make them work now. And so what you see is you don't see a whole lot of projects except in very good areas that are what I call edge development. So it's just outside of areas that are already humming along. And then the opportunity zone just happen to be nearby. So it can attach to that growth. But in general, it hasn't hit its full stride yet. One, because it's risky to try to invest in something that wouldn't strategically work beforehand, before you would even put money in it or the money was available.
So I'll ask very bluntly, are opportunity zones a tool for gentrification from other communities, or are they a way to revitalize, Black areas and other types of areas who were starved of investment, or is it a little bit of both?
Yeah, I would say that in some areas you are going to see some gentrification. I'm here in Charlotte, North Carolina. It's one of the hottest cities in the United States, and so we're growing like crazy here. And so you're going to see some gentrification, and the gentrification. My problem with gentrification most of the time, it happens because in those neighborhoods, a property might have been passed along, or someone that can't afford to rehab their property, and they see a check, and then they end up selling their property. So it stimulates it. The only way to stop it really is to just hold on to your property, uh, clean your property up, rehab it, and for heirs of properties to hold on to it, rehab them, rent them out. That's the only way to really slow it down. You're not going to stop it. In other cases, stimulation is really needed. The difficulty, like I said before, is just making the project work. So even if it's an area that needs some stimulus, if you don't have a good project that makes sense and can actually grow in value and can cash flow, you can afford, bank is willing to loan on it to get the deal constructed or rehab, then there's nothing much that even an opportunity zone can do. And so we're seeing some mix of both, and it depends. I've been in some areas in the country and in the South. I won't necessarily name the areas, but literally the only reason why it qualified as an opportunity zone because there were no houses there. It was wooded. And then I guess at the state level, they chose the property. And if you'll go in that area, and that area, there's no way that area should have qualified as an opportunity zone. So you got a little mix of everything because the decisions were made at the state level. So really wasn't any policing around what makes sense around opportunity zones. So some good and bad, as in all things.
Got you. Well, how can we start taking advantage of, let's say, opportunity zones as well as Black people?
Yeah, I would say if you own property in those neighborhoods, definitely you want to get involved in or get connected with a consultant such as myself. I do work across the country and have done work all the way out to LA and Tacoma, Washington. So you want to get with someone that can help you structure or see what you actually have. Do you have an opportunity where you can take your land and develop it stay in the deal, and create a cash flow for yourself and your family. So you don't always have to sell your land and take the check and go with it. You can partner with developers and get a cash flow off of your property. So I would say, folks that's in opportunity zones, you're in a great time where if you can find a great project that would work on your land, then guess what? You can create long-term sustainable income. Because in opportunity zone, it was really meant for the investment to stay in the deal for 10 years. Can do it at 5 or 7 years, but it was really meant to stay in a deal for 10 years to really have a true impact on communities.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that's some excellent advice. So if you own a property in the opportunity zone, please hit up Dorian at doriancarter.com. So we have one more segment. I just want to know a little bit more about what you're currently offering in terms of your course here, Dorian. But before we get to that, just as a reminder, I'm here speaking with Dorian Carter. Dorian is the president of On Point Partners, which is a global commercial real estate advisory firm. And today we're talking all about the immense opportunities in commercial real estate for Black people to build wealth. So if you like this video, please go ahead and show us some love by pressing the thumbs up button. And actually, this time around, on the count of three, please go ahead and press the thumbs up button with me. So on the count of three. So 1, 2, 3. Go ahead and press that thumbs up button. Show us some love. Show Dorian some love so Google's algorithm can show us some love as well. Make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel and share this video if you like the information that we're sharing today. So Dorian, let's talk more about your products and services and what you have to offer. So you alluded to a course that you have. Can you talk about that course and what's in it?
Yeah, ironically, I have a course that is out on pre-sale. You can find it on my website. It's called Find Your Path to Commercial Real Estate. What I'm on a mission is, I'm on a mission to really get more African Americans, more minorities into commercial real estate. It's an awesome opportunity and a great time for folks to get into it. So whether you're looking to be a broker, you want to develop, or you're looking to be an investor, I'm looking to get more African Americans into the business. It's a wide open opportunity. It's like I say, less than 1% of all practitioners or folks in commercial real estate is African American. And the average age is 60. So it's just not African Americans in general, but it's various age groups. So if you're less than 60, it's still wide open for you. We need you in there. And so my course is Find Your Path to Commercial Real Estate, and it's on my website at the training link there. You'll see it at the top.
All right. So it's at doriancarter.com. I just put that link into the chat so you can check out Dorian and his commercial real estate course. And before we get out of here, Dorian, what is your best piece of advice for the people who are watching right now in terms of getting into commercial real estate? What would you tell someone who really wants to get into this area?
I would tell, and I spoke today earlier about, the time is now. It's wide open. It's a lot of opportunity. It's so much wealth opportunity. No matter where you drive, you'll see a property on the way home today that needs some love. That's an opportunity to create wealth. So definitely jump in, I would say. And in general, since we don't know quite what the market is going to do here in the next few months, I would say, folks that have an opportunity to pay off debt in any way they can, eliminate as much debt right now, because at some point the market is going to go down and you always want to try to catch it on the way up. So I would say definitely pay off debt and start looking for deals. Start getting yourself some training around commercial real estate and learn what it's all about, because it's a great opportunity for all African Americans right now in commercial real estate.
Perfect. Yeah, no, I mean that was some awesome advice, Dorian, and thank you for sharing today. If you guys want to know more about Dorian, please head over to doriancarter.com and check out his website. And before you get out of here, make sure you press the thumbs up button. And last but not least, I would like to thank our corporate sponsor, the Black Business School, which I am president and chief operating officer. So at the Black Business School, we don't just help Black people climb the corporate ladder, we help them build one as well. So what we do is help African Americans obtain a culturally relevant yet practical education in all things wealth building at a price they can afford. So whether you're looking to build additional freedom or find additional freedom in your life to spend more time with your family, to travel more, or you want to build generational wealth and a legacy of financial success, or you want just ability to go into your golden years, your retirement years, we have courses and offerings for you. We focus on three main areas. We focus on real estate investing, stock investing, and entrepreneurship. So if you're looking for classes in one of those three areas, we're actually adding more personal finance courses in the Black Business School as well right now. So once you start making that money, you know how to keep it as well. So please head over to theblackbusinessschool.com. That is theblackbusinessschool.com to learn more. So on behalf of Mr. Dorian Carter, my name is Lawrence Watkins, founder and CEO of Great Black Speakers and president and chief operating officer at the Black Business School. You guys take care, be blessed, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.